Have you ever paused for a moment and realized that somewhere along the way, you stopped being yourself? Maybe it happened so gradually you didn't notice. You said yes when you wanted to say no. You followed a path because it was expected of you. You smiled on the outside while something inside of you whispered, "This isn't me." We live in a world full of noise, expectations, comparisons, and endless distractions that makes it all too easy to lose our true selves. And when that happens, life feels less like living and more like simply existing. This video is about that quiet but powerful truth. We often lose ourselves without even realizing it, and only when we begin to find ourselves again does life truly start. Together, we will explore 5 ways people commonly lose themselves by living for others, chasing material success, comparing, constantly ignoring their inner voice, and being too afraid to live authentically. More importantly, we'll talk about how to gently come back to yourself, step by step. I don't want this to just be my voice talking at you. I want this to be a conversation. So as you listen, I encourage you to reflect and share. Have you ever felt like you were drifting away from who you really are? Which of the 5 ways do you recognize most in your own life? Your story might be the exact reminder someone else in this community needs to hear today. Before we dive deeper, let me also ask you something simple. Where are you watching from right now? And what time is it as you press play on this video? Morning, afternoon, or late at night? I'd love to know. Take a moment to drop a comment and let me know. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's a small gesture that helps this community grow and allows us to keep creating content that nurtures reflection, calmness, and strength. Together, we can build a space where finding yourself is not just an idea, it's a daily practice. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let's begin this journey of rediscovery. Life has a way of testing us in the quietest and yet the loudest moments. Perhaps you felt it too, the heaviness of carrying a burden that no one else can see. The late night worry that lingers long after the world has gone to sleep. The fear of making the wrong decision, the regret of a past mistake, or the pressure of expectations pressing down like an invisible weight. These struggles are not unique to you. They are a part of the human experience, and in recognizing that we begin to find a measure of peace. When life feels tangled, the first step is not always to act, but to pause. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of a storm. The wind pushes the rain, blurs your vision, and everything inside you screams to run. But what if instead of running, you stopped? What if you allowed yourself to breathe in that storm, to realize that the ground beneath your feet is still steady? This pause is not weakness, it is strength. It is the space where clarity begins. Guidance in moments of struggle often starts with a question: what is truly mine to control? Too often we battle shadows. We fight against how people see us, against the uncontrollable turns of fate, against outcomes already beyond our reach. This constant resistance drains us. But when we shift our focus back to what lies within our circle of control, our choices, our actions, our mindset, the path forward becomes clearer. For example, if a friendship turns cold, you cannot control whether someone still values you, but you can choose how you respond with dignity, with boundaries, and with kindness to yourself. There is a positive side to these struggles, though it rarely feels that way at first. Struggles break illusions. They strip away what is unnecessary and reveal what truly matters. Many people only discover their inner strength when life leaves them no choice but to lean on it. These moments of pain, as heavy as they feel, are also invitations to grow deeper roots. Think of a tree battered by wind. over time its roots dig further into the soil, anchoring it more firmly. In the same way, your hardships can become anchors of wisdom, teaching you resilience and compassion. Of course, there is also the negative perspective, the temptation to believe that our struggles define us, that we are permanently broken or powerless. It is easy to let despair whisper that nothing will ever change, that life is too unfair to be endured. And in those moments, scrolling endlessly online, comparing yourself to others or drowning in self-criticism might feel like a release, but it only deepens the wound. This is the spiral we must guard against. The mind, when left unchecked, can turn one difficulty into 1,000 imagined disasters. To fall into this negativity is to surrender your power, but you are not powerless. You are never powerless. Even in the smallest choices, choosing to breathe deeply instead of lashing out, choosing to rest instead of overworking, choosing to write down one good thing about your day, instead of focusing only on the bad, you reclaim your agency. These small acts matter. They remind you that healing is not one grand moment of change, but a series of gentle steps. For those who have faced similar crises, losing a job, ending a relationship, or battling anxiety, you are not alone. Your pain is valid. It is seen. I want you to feel in this moment that you are being listened to, even if through the silence of a screen. Others have walked this road before you. Others have carried heavy weights and step by step found their way through. Their survival is proof of what is possible for you too. Let us also remember peace does not always come from fixing the external problem immediately. Often peace comes from tending to the internal wound first, like a broken bone that must be set before it can carry weight again. Your mind and heart need patience and care. Journaling your thoughts, practicing gratitude for the smallest details, or simply allowing yourself to rest without guilt. These are acts of quiet repair. If you ever feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, what is one thing I can do right now to nurture myself? It may be making tea, stepping outside to feel the air, or speaking kindly to yourself instead of critically. This is not escapism. It is the practice of returning to your center so that when you are ready, you can face your challenges with greater strength. As you listen, I encourage you to see yourself not as someone who must solve everything immediately, but as someone who is allowed to breathe, to feel, and to grow. Life is not demanding perfection from you. It is inviting you to live fully, even in the imperfect. The Stoics of ancient Greece and Rome wrestled with the same struggles of the human heart. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our judgments about them. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor carrying the weight of a vast empire, reminded himself daily that the opinions of others and the turns of fate were beyond his control. What mattered was the integrity of his own soul. As your guide, I echo their wisdom. Do not hand your peace to what lies outside you. Anchor yourself in what you can govern: your thoughts, your actions, your inner dignity. Ask yourself, if nothing outside me can disturb my mind, what power remains within me? The answer is freedom. There comes a point in almost every life when the expectations of others begin to feel like chains. Perhaps it starts innocently enough. Your parents suggest a career path, your friends hint at how you should behave. Society whispers constantly about what success should look like. Slowly, without realizing, you begin to measure your worth by standards you never chose. And one day, you look in the mirror and feel the strange emptiness of a life that doesn't truly belong to you. This burden of expectation is one of the heaviest struggles people face. It creeps into daily choices, into the way we dress, speak, or even think. The first step in resolving this conflict is awareness. You cannot release yourself from chains you do not see. take a moment to ask, which of my daily actions come from my own desire and which are only to satisfy someone else's picture of me? This simple act of reflection begins to untangle the knot. Guidance in these moments is about reclaiming your voice. When facing the pressure of expectations, remember that you do not owe your life to the projections of others. This doesn't mean shutting out everyone or living recklessly. It means balancing respect for others with loyalty to yourself. For example, if your family wants you to pursue a career that feels empty to you, you can acknowledge their hopes while still choosing a path that nourishes your spirit. Respect does not require self-betrayal. There are positives to this process. Learning to identify and release false expectations brings tremendous peace. You begin to move with lighter steps, knowing you are living for something authentic. You discover passions you had slunced, dreams you had buried, and the simple joy of living in alignment with your inner truth. In this way, even disappointment from others becomes less frightening because you know you are not disappointing yourself. Yet there are negative perspectives as well. Walking away from external expectations often feels like betrayal. People may misunderstand, criticize, or even withdraw their support. The temptation to return to compliance can be overwhelming. Many people remain trapped in unfulfilling lives because the fear of judgment feels heavier than the weight of self-betrayal. This is the shadow side of expectations they create. Not only external pressure, but also internal guilt. It is crucial to recognize this and remind yourself that living dishonestly is the greater betrayal, for it steals your very sense of being alive. To those of you listening who feel torn between duty and desire, I want you to feel seen. Maybe you are the eldest child carrying family hopes, or someone whose partner demands conformity, or an employee trapped in a job that suffocates creativity. Your struggle is not small. It matters. And your longing for freedom is not selfish. It is human. You deserve a life where your choices echo your heart's voice. When overwhelmed by expectation practice, this gentle step, write down 2 lists. On one side, write the things you do because you truly love them. On the other, write the things you do because you feel you must. Look at the contrast. Which list feels heavier? Which feels lighter? This exercise brings clarity and allows you to slowly shift your energy toward the life-giving side. Peace comes not from erasing all expectations that would be impossible, but from learning to filter them. You may still meet obligations, but you no longer confuse them with identity. You are more than someone's child, partner, or colleague. You are a whole being with a purpose beyond roles. Sometimes the greatest act of courage is to simply say, "This is not who I am," and that is okay. When you choose authenticity, you risk disapproval but gain integrity. And integrity, unlike approval, does not vanish overnight. It stays with you, steadying your steps, reminding you that you belong fully to yourself. The ancient Stoics understood the crushing power of expectations. Marcus Aurelius, though Emperor of Rome, reminded himself daily not to live as a man of the court, but as a man of reason and virtue. Epictetus taught that freedom is not granted by society, but earned by refusing to be mastered by its demands. As your teacher and fellow traveler, I say this to be free. You must ask yourself, whose life am I living? If the answer is only theirs, then you are drifting from your true self. But if the answer begins to include mine, then you are on the path of integrity. The Stoic lesson is simple but profound. You cannot control others' expectations, but you can choose not to surrender your soul to them. That choice is the seed of freedom. One of the quietest thieves of peace in modern life is comparison. Without even realizing it, we scroll through endless images of others, vacations, careers, relationships, achievements, and begin to measure our worth against theirs. The mind whispers, they are ahead, you are behind. They are enough, you are not. It is an exhausting cycle, and it robs us of the ability to live our own life with contentment. The first step in resolving this struggle is to recognize how natural it is. You are not weak for comparing yourself. You are human. The brain has always looked outward for clues about survival. In ancient times, comparison helped people know where they fit in the tribe. But today, in a world of exaggerated highlights and curated perfection, comparison no longer protects us, it poisons us. Awareness is the beginning of freedom. When you catch yourself comparing, pause and ask, am I seeing the whole truth of this person's life? Or just the brightest fragment? The answer almost always is the latter. Social media and public appearances reveal little of the struggles, doubts, and private battles everyone carries. This realization alone can soften the sting of comparison. Guidance in overcoming comparison also lies in shifting focus inward. Instead of asking, how do I measure up to them? Ask, how am I growing compared to yesterday's version of me? Life is not a race against others, but a process of becoming more authentic, more compassionate, more aligned with your own values. If today you are even slightly more patient, more mindful, or more courageous than yesterday, that is real progress. There are positives hidden within comparison if we learn to use it wisely. Seeing others succeed can inspire us, showing us what is possible. Witnessing courage can awaken our own. If we treat comparison as a mirror to reveal our desires, not our inadequacies, it can guide us toward goals worth pursuing. For example, if you feel envy at someone's creative success, perhaps it signals a buried dream within you waiting to be expressed. In this way, comparison becomes a teacher, not a tyrant. Yet the negatives are undeniable. Left unchecked, comparison breeds resentment, low self-esteem, and constant dissatisfaction. It can make you feel like nothing is ever enough. No matter how much you achieve, someone will always seem ahead. This endless pursuit drains joy from the present moment, turning life into a scoreboard instead of an experience. Worse, it can drive you to chase goals that aren't even yours, simply to keep up appearances. This is the tragedy of comparison. It convinces you to abandon your own journey in order to run someone else's race. To those who are listening and feeling trapped in this cycle, I want you to know you are not a wizard. Many people hide the shame of envy, pretending it doesn't exist. But I see you and I want you to feel understood. Your longing for peace is valid. The truth is, your worth cannot be measured against anyone else, because no one else has lived your exact story with your exact challenges and strengths. You are incomparable by nature. A gentle practice for moments of envy is gratitude. It may sound simple, but writing down 3 things you are grateful for each day shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. It reminds you that your life too contains blessings worth celebrating. Another practice is limiting exposure to triggers. If certain online spaces constantly leave you feeling inadequate, give yourself permission to step back. Protecting your peace is not weakness, it is wisdom. Most importantly, remember that peace does not come from proving your value to the world. It comes from living a life you value, even if no one else sees or applauds it. Imagine sitting quietly at the end of a day, knowing you acted with kindness, pursued something meaningful, or simply took care of yourself. That quiet satisfaction is far more powerful than any number of likes, promotions, or comparisons. So when you find yourself comparing, pause, breathe, ask what is truly mine to live today. In answering, you reclaim the ground beneath your feet. The Stoics spoke directly to this struggle centuries ago. Seneca warned against wasting our energy on envy, reminding us that we see only the surface of others' lives, never their hidden burdens. Epictetus taught that the only measure of success is whether we live according to reason and virtue, not whether we appear greater or lesser than others. As your teacher, I ask you, if comparison steals your peace, why keep offering it power? Imagine Marcus Aurelius, ruler of the known world, writing in his private journal, not about outshining others, but about mastering himself. That is the Stoic path, to judge not by the heights of others, but by the steadiness of your own mind. Here lies freedom. There is a certain kind of emptiness that comes not from loss, but from disconnection. Many people today live surrounded by noise, constant notifications, deadlines, demands from others, and yet feel strangely hollow inside. It is as though the voice within the quiet guide of our true self has been drowned out by the roar of everything external. And in that silence of the soul, people begin to feel lost, anxious, or numb. The first step in addressing this struggle is recognition. Ask yourself, when was the last time I truly listened to myself? Not just your surface thoughts, but the deeper current beneath them. Often we avoid this question because we fear what the silence may reveal, grief we have not faced, questions we cannot answer, or truths we have long ignored. But ignoring yourself does not protect you. It only extends the ache of disconnection. Guidance in this area begins with creating small moments of stillness. It does not have to be dramatic or mystical. It might be a quiet walk without headphones, a few deep breaths in the morning before you touch your phone, or 5 minutes at night to reflect on the day. These pauses are bridges back to your inner life. Over time, they remind you that peace is not something you must chase externally. It already exists inside, waiting for your attention. There are positives to rediscovering inner connection. When you cultivate silence, you begin to notice subtleties, the way your body reacts to stress, the small joys hidden in an ordinary day, the whisper of your intuition. Life becomes richer, not because the world changes, but because you are finally present enough to notice it. Relationships also deepen, because when you are connected to yourself, you can listen more fully to others. Yet the negative perspective is equally important to acknowledge. Disconnection often feels easier in the short term. Busyness distracts from pain and noise drowns out uncomfortable questions. Facing yourself can be daunting, especially if you have avoided inner reflection for years. Some resist silence because it feels like loneliness, or because they fear the memories it may awaken. This is the paradox. The very thing that heals us listening inward can initially feel unbearable. To those of you who feel overwhelmed by the pace of life, I want you to know you are not weak. You are human in a world designed for distraction. Your craving for stillness is not laziness, it is wisdom. If you feel guilty for resting or uneasy when life slows down, let me say this. Clearly, rest is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Without it, your soul cannot breathe. A gentle practice to rebuild connection with yourself is journaling. Write not for perfection, but for honesty. Begin with simple prompts. What am I feeling right now? What do I need? What am I avoiding? At first, the answers may be clumsy or vague, but with time, clarity emerges. Another practice is mindful breathing, choosing even 1 minute a day to notice the rhythm of your breath. This is not escapism. It is the foundation for recentering your mind. Peace comes when you realize you are not just what you do, own, or achieve. You are also the quiet presence beneath all that. Returning to yourself is like coming home after a long journey. It does not erase problems, but it strengthens you to face them with steadiness. Remember this truth. The world will always demand your attention, but your inner life will not shout. It waits patiently like a friend who never left, ready to welcome you back when you are ready to listen. So I ask you now, what would happen if you gave yourself permission to be still? Not for productivity, not for self-improvement, but simply because you deserve to feel whole. The Stoics understood that true strength came not from noise, but from inner clarity. Marcus Aurelius often wrote to himself in solitude, reminding his soul to return inward to stand firm against the distractions of empire. Epictetus taught that peace comes not from external possessions, but from mastering the inner dialogue of the mind. As your teacher, I offer you the same guidance. Take time each day to retreat inward, not to escape life, but to meet it more fully. Ask yourself, if I cannot sit quietly with my own soul, how can I expect peace from the world? The Stoic lesson is timeless. External chaos may rage, but the mind that returns to itself is unshakable. Within that stillness lies freedom. There are few burdens heavier than pretending to be someone you are not. Many of us wear masks every day, smiling when we are sad, agreeing when we want to resist, acting confident while inside we tremble. We do this because we fear judgment, rejection, or failure. The world can feel harsh, and pretending seems safer than exposing our true selves. But over time, this performance drains us. It is like carrying armor everywhere, heavy and suffocating, until we forget who we are beneath it. The first step in addressing this struggle is compassion for yourself. Do not judge yourself for the masks you wear. Understand why you put them on. They were once tools of survival. Maybe you learned as a child that speaking your truth led to criticism. Maybe at work you felt that blending in was safer than standing out. These strategies once protected you, but now as an adult, they often become prisons. Awareness of this is the beginning of freedom. Guidance in this area begins with small acts of honesty. You do not need to expose your entire soul at once. Start with one safe person and speak one truth you usually hide. Notice how it feels, not just the fear, but also the relief. Authenticity grows slowly, like a flame that strengthens with each breath of air. Over time, you realize that being yourself is not as dangerous as you feared. There are powerful positives that come from living authentically. When you remove the mask, relationships become more genuine. People no longer connect to your performance, they connect to you. This depth of connection brings peace because you no longer fear being found out. You also discover energy you didn't know you had freed from the constant effort of pretending. And perhaps, most importantly, you feel whole again, aligned with your inner truth, rather than fractured between inner and outer selves. Of course, there are negatives, and we must acknowledge them honestly. Authenticity can bring rejection. Some people will not understand, and others may walk away. Speaking your truth may cost you approval, status, or comfort. These losses are painful, and the temptation to retreat behind the mask will be strong. But ask yourself, is temporary acceptance worth the permanent loss of your own soul? This is the hard truth many avoid. The cost of living falsely is far greater than the cost of being misunderstood. To those listening who feel trapped in roles they never chose, I want to say this clearly: you are not wrong for longing to be yourself. Your yearning for authenticity is not selfish or foolish. It is the deepest call of the human spirit. Perhaps you are in a relationship where you must constantly hide your feelings, or in a job where you suppress your creativity, or in a community where your values feel silenced. I want you to know you are not alone in this struggle. Millions carry the same secret exhaustion, and there is peace waiting for you on the other side of courage. Practical steps can help you build this courage. Begin by writing a list of moments in your life when you felt most alive, most yourself. What were you doing? Who were you with? These moments are clues to your authentic self. Then identify one area where you can bring a little more truth into daily life. Perhaps expressing an opinion, gently setting a boundary, or pursuing a passion, quietly but steadily. These are not grand gestures, but seeds. And from seeds, forests grow. Peace comes when your inner life and outer life begin to align. Imagine no longer rehearsing before every interaction, no longer fearing that others might discover the real you. Imagine instead walking lightly, knowing that what you show is what you are. This harmony is not perfection, but it is freedom. I leave you with this reflection. Authenticity does not mean you will never be afraid. It means you choose honesty despite the fear. Each time you show up as yourself, you reclaim a piece of your soul, and slowly you begin to feel at home in your own life again. The Stoics valued authenticity above approval. Epictetus taught that a person's dignity lies not in pleasing others, but in living according to their true nature. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself not to waste time worrying about what others think, for their judgments are fleeting and beyond control. To live in harmony with reason and virtue, that was his measure of success. As your guide, I ask you, if you spend your life acting for others who will act for you, masks may protect you for a time, but they also suffocate you. The Stoic lesson is simple. You cannot govern the opinions of others, but you can govern your own integrity. Choose truth over pretense. And though the world may not always applaud, your soul will finally rest in peace. As we come to the close of this journey together, I want to leave you with more than just words. I want to leave you with a sense of comfort, a reminder that you are not alone, and a gentle encouragement to take care of yourself in the days ahead. Life can feel overwhelming at times. The challenges we face, whether they are regrets from the past, worries about the future, or struggles in the present, can feel like storms too heavy to bear. But even in the heaviest rain, there is always shelter. And sometimes that shelter begins with a simple reminder: you are stronger than you realize, and you are worthy of peace. If you are watching this while feeling tired, anxious, or weighed down, please take this moment as a small gift to yourself. Breathe deeply. Allow your shoulders to soften. Let your mind rest. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to fix everything in one day. It is enough, truly enough, to simply take one step at a time. Healing is not a race, it is a gentle unfolding. I also want to wish you health, both in body and in mind. May you sleep peacefully tonight. May you wake tomorrow with a little more strength and a little more hope than you carried today. May you find small joys in unexpected places, a kind word, a quiet moment, the warmth of sunlight, or the sound of laughter. These are the treasures of life, and they are waiting for you even in difficult times. Please remember too that this community is here for you. I don't want this to be a one-way conversation. I would love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from right now, and what time is it for you? Morning, afternoon, or night? Sharing your voice here is a way to remind yourself that you belong to something larger, that even across distance, We are connected by shared struggles and shared humanity. If today's message brought you even a moment of calm or comfort, consider leaving a comment below. Not only does it help us build a circle of support, but your words may touch someone else who is reading and remind them that they are not walking this road alone. And finally, I want to say thank you. Thank you for giving your time, your presence, and your attention. It is not something I take lightly. Every person who joins this space adds light to it. My parting wish for you is simple but heartfelt. Take care of yourself. Treat yourself with the same gentleness you would offer a dear friend. You deserve kindness, patience, and love, especially from yourself. Until we meet again, stay safe, stay strong, and may peace always find you.